don't want to defend these people. So I just sort of gave you the example of big tech. We are the world, link arms. Think of what that means. We are the world. That means you and South Africa. That means you and Qatar. That means you and Ukraine. That means you and the warlords in Uganda. Take your pick. You can't just link arms with the world because the world doesn't share all of our values. Speaking of heartless, the UK police. Now, we've told you this. If free speech dies here in the United States, there's nowhere else to go. There really is nowhere else to go. And when I used to do some change my minds, the United States is the greatest country in the world. We didn't really need to go much further down the argument trail, the logic trail, if they didn't agree that, hey, the First Amendment is paramount. And that is something that makes us unique in exactly how it is enshrined in our Constitution. They'll tell you, the left will tell you that other countries have freedom of speech with the caveat, yeah, but not hate speech. And you see how that ends up every single time. Now, I want you to remember this. Every single time there has been the caveat of hate speech, free speech ceases to exist. Let me give you the recent example. So these are not new reports, but they were recently revealed on social media. All references, links in the description. The UK police arrested an older retired officer, a man named Julian Foulkes, in 2023 for what is allegedly an anti-Semitic tweet. Okay, but here's the context. And it's bad enough to arrest someone for an anti-Semitic tweet. You shouldn't be doing that. To be clear, I have no problem with people out there hating Israel with the fullness of their anti-Semitic heart in the public square. I have a problem with advocating for genocide or, for example, destroying school property or public property. I have no problem. Well, I shouldn't say I have no problem. You have the right to hate. That's one thing we have to accept. People have the right to hate, and you have the right to disagree with them. But in this instance, it wasn't even an anti-Semitic tweet, and that is the wrinkle that comes along with hate speech. You see, well, who determines hate speech? Not only can people use it as a political weapon, as a cudgel, but the people in charge can also be wrong. And you can, wait, you lost your rights. So this was at the onset of the Israel-Hamas war. Let's go through kind of the steps that have taken place. So step one, this UK politician denounced anti-Semitism in a tweet. Then, in step two, a pro-Hamas user came in and replied to said UK politician with the threat to sue her over an anti-Semitic accusation. Then Foulkes tweeted a reply to the pro-Hamas activist. So this is a reply to a reply saying, one step away from storming Heathrow looking for Jewish arrivals, meaning you're basically one step away from storming Heathrow looking for Jewish arrivals. This person didn't write you are.
Right.
But again, if you look through the rest of this person's profile, it's pretty clear where they're coming from. You would think the police would do that.
No.
Here's what's most concerning. Nobody complained about the post on X. Nobody did. There's a specialized police unit that exists in the UK that found this post while specifically hunting for content to prosecute. So they found this post, I think back then it was still a tweet, that had 26 views.
That's why no one complained.
Right.
No one saw it.
No one saw it, and it was a benign anti-Semitic tweet. Then 6 armed officers from Foulkes, by the way, old job, they showed up at his house to arrest him. So think about this, where people say, they all have that famous speech in the newsroom with Jeff Daniels, where he goes, England has freedom of speech. Do you think you have freedom of speech? Police showed up at his house for an anti-Semitic tweet, seized his electronics, and by the way, they immediately had a problem because now they combine what they believe is an anti-Semitic tweet with what they saw, a red flag, some very, quote, Brexity things while searching. Here's the body cam footage.
The public answer.
That's a little odd.
Now, you know what's so telling to me about that? When you see someone say something that raises eyebrows, you don't just look at what they're saying, you look at the reaction of people around them, particularly if the people around them would be a part of their day-to-day association. Like their work colleagues. She goes, these are very Brexity items. Those listening on audio, we put up subtitles.
Yeah.
Meaning she knows that everyone around her in this police force is going, oh, what Brexit items? What means they're a terrorist? No one going, yeah, so what? Who gives a shit? Like, that's what you would hope if the police force is representative of the general population there in the UK, right? Because a good portion of the people there voted for Brexit.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know this, it was kind of a big deal. Happened. There's a whole film made about it. Benedict Cumberbatch. We've had Nigel Farage here on this show. However, in their police departments, the ones who are tasked with searching for tweets to prosecute, they're all in agreement that a Brexity item is a problem. By the way, what constitutes a Brexity item to them? Douglas Murray books. Could you meet someone who is more of a moderate, classical sort of
Yes.
European conservative? You would call him sort of a George W. Bush Republican here. That's a problem. So when they say it's MAGA and it's this extreme faction, they think Douglas Murray is emblematic of extremism. It also, by the way, included his wife's shopping list. No idea how that's Brexity.
No, I have. Look, so listen, if you're going to have hate speech laws or speech laws like this, it's bad enough to get prosecuted for a tweet, right? In what world does that then constitute some kind of probable cause to go through your house and look for stuff? Because it has nothing to. It's not like you're concealing a crime. The crime has apparently been put out to the public to be able to see that's the crime.
Right.
In England, how in the world can they get away with searching through someone's house and looking through their books?
I'll tell you exactly how. It's Europe. I was raised in Canada. That's exactly how. And you guys need to understand this, because in the United States, we have the First Amendment, but you are not protected by the First Amendment when your overlords in big tech play by the rules of these countries. You know, the same government tried to ban Rumble, where you're watching right now.
Right.
You know, the government of Brazil banned Rumble. So did, I believe, France. I'm not entirely sure. They were going to. I think they officially did. Yep. Russia. And Ukraine wanted to ban Rumble as well because they thought that it was too pro-Russia. Russia thought it was too anti. Rumble's the only one who flipped them the bird.
Yeah. The
problem is YouTube, Facebook, in many instances, X, though it's better now, they play ball with these governments. So you may benefit from the First Amendment here in the United States, but not if you're in one of those countries. And sometimes you post something that is not a violation of your freedom of speech here in this country, but it's still removed. You are affected. Just so you know, we are the world. When you link arms, you're linking arms with their policies. And so when people say, well, hey, hold on a second, you're free to say whatever you want, it's not a violation of the First Amendment when it's YouTube. Actually, yeah, it is, if they're afforded the protection of this government and they're playing by the rules of other governments like the one you just saw there. By the way, they didn't just go through his electronics. They went through his wife's underwear drawer. Ugh. Though some argue their suspicions of extremism were confirmed when they found her limited release edible Mangala panties. That's not a good look.
Oh, gosh.
That's even I know that's bad.
Yeah. Don't get me started on the Gorbals sex hammock.
Oh, it's inappropriate.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I realize you guys have a sensitive constitution.
Sensitive African ears.
Yes, in South Africa. Now, this man, folks,
I'm from Rhodesia.
Was held for. Oh, that's right. That's what you guys say.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, bro.
It's okay. It's okay, bro.
Brew?
It's okay. It still is the worst South African accent in the history of the world.
Hey, what's your tongue?
No, we're talking about Leo DiCaprio. He didn't do you justice.
Nice.
So
good eye.
So Foulkes, this guy, he was held for 8 hours before being released. The police eventually issued an apology over the arrest. And
sorry.
Yeah. Now he's suing, and if he wins, the first order of business is the right to search the panty drawers of all 6 officers. But here's the thing. This has...
Wait.
That would be me. I would hope Judge Joe Brown, like, he sued you. He won. He gonna get to play with your wife's panties. You're like, oh. Time served. Now,
After laundry day.
this has an effect, though. It's to let everyone else know. Yeah, okay on this one. But, if we want to, we can keep you. You know, kind of like January 6th here.
Yeah.
It's to let everyone else know. By the way, this is not an isolated example. We're just talking UK. You had a woman, remember, we covered this, who was arrested for a silent prayer outside of an abortion clinic.
Right.
This is in the UK. There was a conservative activist who was jailed for quote-unquote hatred. There was that man who was arrested for racism for doing a karaoke cover of Kung Fu Fighting. And an autistic child arrested for saying a police officer looked like her lesbian nana. And by the way, that autistic child was on point. Yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah, spot on.
The officer looked like Double Dragon 2. And by the way, there have been many, many cases of Brits being arrested for, and I know you're going to say, wait a second, you mean for opposing Israel? No, for opposing Palestine.
It's on the 17th of the 10th of 2023 on Bethnal Green Road at 10:04. You were witnesses saying, obviously, people, while they're over here, etc., we let them into our country, etc.
So, big deal.
Yeah, okay.
So, big deal.
The optics of police arresting the guy with the Union Jack. Can I ask, sir, did you say anything?
Move back, please, Paul.
Yeah, I've moved back. I can still speak to your prisoner, though. Yeah. But just think of the optics and the politics of this nation. You don't want to start a civil war arresting an Englishman for flying a Union Jack when there's people here literally tacitly supporting the October 7th bums.
Back to you, John.
Took the entire montage. I was very serious, and it just ruined it with booms,
Bombs.
boobity, boobity, boobity. Now, I will say this.
Picture Mr. Bean behind the camera.
Now, I will.
Everybody's going to turn into Mr. Bean. They're free to talk.
Teddy's wearing a burqa.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I don't want to defend these people. So I just sort of gave you the example of big tech. We are the world, link arms. Think of what that means. We are the world. That means you and South Africa. That means you and Qatar. That means you and Ukraine. That means you and the warlords in Uganda. Take your pick. You can't just link arms with the world because the world doesn't share all of our values. And this country only enjoys the luxury of, call it socialism light, because we foot the bill for their defense. I don't think we should be defending any nation that doesn't support the American way. We used to have more in common. Think about that. We used to have more in common when there was an actual monarchy than today. That's how bad it has become. Why are we defending a nation, let alone being leveraged by them as far as tariffs, as far as trade? What are we defending? We're defending a country. We consider them allies where they arrest, they jail their own citizens for speech, not even hateful speech. They have entire departments that exist simply to scan for and prosecute social media posts. I would like to see the message of, hey, guess what? Until you change this and enshrine some kind of a First Amendment into codified into the law of your land, guess what? We only defend the lands of the free, and you don't qualify. How about that? I think that we should use every single ounce of leverage that we have to punish this kind of behavior economically. But I even think at this point militarily, and you know what? There would be a lot of Brits who would like to see someone come to their aid, a lot of jailed people, a lot of fined people, a lot of people there who have suffered under the tyranny of tolerance and progressive acceptance, who would like to probably be liberated. We don't think of that all that often, do we? We think, oh, we have the new world, we have the old world. These people are being jailed and punished for opinions that aren't even hateful, but the government deems unpopular or unacceptable. Meet your NATO requirements, defend your own nation, and shut up about how we run our country. That's my conclusion.
Yeah, I thought Nigel Farage's kind of time was done. Apparently not. He's surging in popularity right now. It's like, at some point, I guess the pain is just going to have to get to a high enough level where people in Britain just say, you know what? No, we're done. We're done with this. We're absolutely done with this. They never really had free speech in the first place, but they didn't have this.
Right.
This is a relatively last decade thing where this is, I don't know how you live under a system like this that obviously prioritizes any migrant that just happens to get across the English Channel into your area, doesn't let you talk about rapings that happen out there. I know that's kind of a big thing right now there. And
rape is a big one.
Yeah, it's always a big thing.
It's a doozy.
I just mean they're talking a lot about it because they won't let them cover it and talk about what's happening and who's doing it. And I know people get in trouble over it. I can't imagine that at some point they just don't go, you know what, screw this. We're done with this.
Well, they can't. They're subjugated people. I can tell you this. I would have loved to do a live show in Canada. I can't.
No.
I can't. I don't know that I would come back. I don't know that I wouldn't be put in jail. And I know you think that sounds like hyperbole. It's not at all. It's not at all. I could walk off stage and they could arrest me for speech in Canada. And I know that. I know that full well. It's why I haven't done one. I would love to go back to my home city where I was raised anyway, in Montreal.
I could smuggle you back.
I know. I have no doubt that you could.
I could.
Yeah. But
how many warlords they got there?
Not a whole lot in Canada. They have Mounties and they wear funny, puffy pants.
Not a problem. Just don't talk about it.
Okay.
Well,
it's very cryptic. Hey, do you like what you saw? I don't know how because it's on YouTube and we have to cut all the good parts out. So you should tune in live weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Rumble. We can still speak freely and even use words like and get and whoa. You've been here this whole time?
Yeah. Snuck in.